Well, for me, it's a big honor to be associated with this great orchestra. I've always felt very privileged to have this connection with this really fantastic orchestra. I've always thought that they are very special and have a very, very special place in actually world music history, and I feel that the fact that it continues now in a little bit of a different form makes me very happy. This is a kind of a culmination of our Strauss project, so to speak. We have recorded all the big symphonic works from Zarathustra, till Eulenspiegel, Don Quixote, all the important pieces, Rosenkavalier. And I feel that Alpine Symphony really is the kind of a crowning achievement of Strauss's symphonic output, and perhaps a nice way to end this Strauss journey for us. And Joseph Legend is something that is relatively seldom done, and I happen to like this piece very much. It's very light-hearted, and it happens to be the first and only ballet that he wrote, and he wrote it for Ballet Russe. And it has a kind of an unusual character because of its dance background. So I felt, why not? Because it's always nice to include something slightly unexpected. Clear that Alpine Symphony doesn't really need anything with it, but I thought it would be a kind of a special bonus, if you will, or a special gift for real Strauss lovers. First of all, Sibelius 4 is one of the pieces that we haven't done yet with NHK Orchestra, which for me and for many diehard Sibelius fans is the best symphony, or certainly one of the most deep and profound symphonies. And I love it. It's very difficult to do well, and it is quite enigmatic, and it's quite introvert. And perhaps because of its sort of introverted character, it is not often played. I felt that it would be a good opportunity to play here and continue our quite a considerable Sibelius journey that we have been going and going through anyway through my tenure here. Sibelius, in any case, is a kind of underestimated and, in some cases, I would even say, slightly misunderstood figure. I don't consider him purely a nationalist composer like many see him. I feel that he's really one of the great symphonists of 20th century, and along giants like Nielsen and Prokofiev and even Mahler and so on. So there is a great symphonic sort of depth in his music, and he really was somebody whose really greatest achievements are in his symphonies, very much like in Beethoven. And in the same program we have a little bit more accessible music, if you will. Rachmaninoff, Paganini variations, and of course Francesco da Rimini. They are all extremely dramatic and well loved by the audiences, and in my opinion makes a very nice and well balanced program when there is a lot of depth, and also there is enough music that the audience can immediately relate to. It is actually an area and I'm talking about now French music, that is very dear to my heart. I always have loved, since I was a kid, loved French music, French romantic symphonic music, and then, of course, the great Debussy, Ravel, and all of the 20th century modernists as well, Dutilleux and Messiaen, and during my time in Orchestre de Paris, I think we had over 10 world premieres by living French composers. So to me, maybe people don't associate me with that repertoire, but I do a lot of it. Well, it's an interesting combination, because these pieces are all written for the smaller forces, and they have a sort of a chamber music character, even though they are orchestral pieces. And they all have a kind of a underlying playfulness, and it is not really the traditional take on French music. One would always assume that you will have either Ravel, La Valse, or Debussy, La Mer, or something in that vein. And there is a lot of other French music that is equally great and charming and deserves to be heard. And I particularly love the whole Le Six, of course, but Poulenc, one of the most underestimated and brilliant French composers. Not to mention Roussel and Iber. So there is a lot of very, very interesting music to discover, and I think since we have 3 weeks, might as well make those 3 weeks very different and explore different sides of repertoire. Well, I am incredibly excited in coming back to NHK Orchestra and meeting again all my friends, the wonderful audience and music lovers of Tokyo, Japan, and wonderful supporters of NHK Symphony Orchestra. So I'm very much looking forward. Please come to the concert and explore some of the really interesting and some unusual repertoire.